What is up, everybody? It's Wilverse TV here today, and we have to talk about this post/article from PlayStation Lifestyle, is the website this is coming from, and they talk about Microsoft exclusive High on Life and saying how it is so cringy that it has people apologizing for mocking Forspoken. Because recently, I think this past month, I remember when Forspoken was trending, people was like saying the dialogue for Forspoken was cringy. I did my thoughts about that, the being a cringy. I didn't really have a big deal with it. It's like I didn't really care at the end of the day about the dialogue like that. But now they are saying that High on Life dialogue is super cringy. Now I did a reaction to like the gameplay they showed at Gamescom. It was pretty much display on how High Life dialogue was gonna be. It seems like the same humor as Rick and Morty. So I don't see what the big deal is with people complaining about dialogue in games, especially with High on Life. It's like if you like Rick and Morty style humor, if you like that TV show, then you're gonna like that game because it's like the same type of humor. If you don't like that TV show or the humor they have in that, then you probably shouldn't play the game. So I don't know like why is it hard. That's a hard concept to understand right there. But people complain about the dialogue being cringy. I mean, it is what it is. Different strokes for different folks. If you don't like the dialogue, that's on you. But I mean, did this same conversation come out when they made the South Park games or the different other games that focus on humor, or like Borderlands or whatever type of game that focuses on humor? Like, why is there such a thing where people can trash High on Life? And I think High on Life was actually a breath of fresh air, to be honest. When I was playing, I was actually looking at the gameplay. It looks really unique. Not every game has to be super serious and super apocalyptic, super dramatic. You can have a fun game like that where they're just saying the most craziest things that's like really edgy, and it's hilarious. It's like I don't see a problem with that, but it's a problem now. And even with Forspoken, I know a lot of people are trashing on Forspoken. I didn't have a problem with that dialogue like that. I thought it was okay. I'm more interested in this game because it's an open world style game, which we don't get. We don't really get a lot of. That is very like reminiscent of like the 360 generation, PS 360 PS3 generation. We had like games like Prototype and Infamous. I'm sure we had Infamous on a PS4, but that game was kind of I don't like the Second Son at all, but like the previous Infamous games. But it kind of reminds me of that with the whole platform aspect. It's just like that platform mixed with like Alice in Wonderland type of scenario going on with this. But I'm interested in both games, to be honest. So it's just ridiculous that these games are really getting ridiculed because of the dialogue like that. Like I was like, it's just interesting. But let's see if we got to say about this post right here. People laugh watching High on Life dialogue. People laughed at Forspoken dialogue. Big difference. Difference being that High on Life is supposed to be that way, as it is a comedy game. Forspoken isn't. A comedy cringe and a serious cringe are drastically different. Perfect example is Trovo Saves the Universe. Is made by the same people, same humor. Okay, I think that was like a VR game that came out last generation. Well, Microsoft games are on Game Pass for it's risk-free trying it. Yeah, if you don't like it, you didn't really invest in anything. If it's on Game Pass, you got a Game Pass subscription, you just try it out. So I'm not entirely sure why it's so cringe. Is that the game's supposed to be goofy, along with it being developed by the guys behind Rick and Morty? It just doesn't make any sense. A lot of people complain about a game that's made by a comedy team. Like, really? Like, I don't get it. That's like complaining about a comedy movie. Like, if you don't like the comedy that those people usually do, then don't watch it or don't play it at this instance. I think everyone complaining about either of these games is just miserable. I kind of think that too, to be honest, bro. It's like really, you can't just say the game is for you and move on. Like, why do you have to go above and beyond? Just saying like complain about these games. Like, it's not for you. Just keep it pushing. Same happening with Saints Row getting S for dialogue it's had for years. Same with Saints Row. Those games have been pretty goofy and ridiculous over the top as well too. So the fact that people are trashing the newest one for the same type of dialogue that's been in the past few games is kind of ridiculous as well too. This guy says the Saints Row reboot is downright awful. What was good 8 or 10 years ago for the franchise is dated now. Zero creativity with dated visuals. Go here and shoot people and drive over to the part of the map and shoot more people. That's it. Buggy mess. I haven't played the newest Saints Row game, but I've heard that people have had the same type of opinion about that game, that it's not that great. But I'm going to judge it for myself. I'm just not going to play the game right away because I got a huge number of backlog. I got a lot of games about backlog, so I'm not in a rush to play this game, but it's like, I just don't see the point of constantly trashing a game or a series that you're not fond of. Like Saints Row, like I said before, The dialogue has always been the same for the past few games. It's been super goofy. If you don't want a game like that, then don't play it. Like, it's not everything is made for you at the end of the day. Might be cringe, but still gonna be playing it day one because it looks hilarious as F. The dialogue in Forspoken is awful. And PlayStation Lifestyle is also completely an undeniable impartial source. Yeah, they're definitely biased. Both are equally cringe. Fake news really is fake news, to be honest. It's like, really? We making articles about dialogue now? Like, really? I was like, at the end of the day, who cares? Both are cringe, but here is the difference. High on Life is designed to be cringe. Forspoken is designed to be a serious game and ended up being cringe. Is it really supposed to be? I mean, I guess it's supposed to be more serious. I guess that is kind of true, so yeah, but one is going to be a fun and Xbox fans will love it. The other is going to be an embarrassment to a lackluster PlayStation ecosystem. High on Life looks quite entertaining. Don't deflect the trash of Forspoken. It won't work. Well, bad news. I'm going to be playing High on Life, and I don't give a lucent Naranja Mantle what the ponies say. It's gonna be amazing. At the end of it, I'll be high on life. Okay. LMAO, no bias here. They literally named themselves after PlayStation. I'm pretty sure they're obviously biased. LOL, the bio says we report on everything PlayStation. So why is a Microsoft time exclusive the game the topic of conversation for this piece? This has nothing to do with Sony. I don't know. They must really be bored. Like, why even talk about Xbox related game if it's not even on PlayStation? Your whole site just talks about PlayStation news. Desperately trying to shift attention away from time exclusive Forspoken. Tell me you know nothing about Rick and Morty without telling me you know nothing about Rick and Morty. Coming from a PlayStation dedicated website, clowns. The tone of the game fits the dialogue. The premise is wacky with aliens using humans as drugs, talking guns, fourth wall breaking. The other one might be a fun game, but the tone is all over the place. A lot of hurt Xbox fans in the comments. I mean, I don't know if these guys really hurt. They just don't really care like that, to be honest. It's like it's just a weird comparison when the game is supposed to be cringy and funny. It's like the whole premise of the writers. That's what they do to all their shows or games and stuff like that. So, just because you say something doesn't make it true. Gonna enjoy them both. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing them both, to be honest. This tweet is cringy, not the games. Gamers are the most hard to please audience on the face of the earth. Sometimes that's very true. Gamers are very picky or complain a lot about a lot of stuff. Like it just wouldn't make sense to me to complain about a genre that I'm not a fan of or a style I'm not a fan of. Like I'm not a fan of sports games, so I'm not gonna play any sports games. I'm just gonna ignore all sports games, so I'm not a fan of sports games. Or are these people who don't like Rick and Morty choosing to willingly participate in anything concerning Rick and Morty style stuff? It doesn't make any sense. Not even close to the same. High on Life has humor that isn't anyone's cup of tea, and some might find it cringy. Forspoken isn't a comedy game. The game has legit terrible dialogue and voice acting. Big difference. This is hilarious that something like this is said by a PlayStation Pro account. Only thing cringy is this website, so they're just gonna roast it. Like, jeez. And I've never heard of this website until today, but it's like, why even make this article? Like, they must really be desperate for news right now. Like, really. What sort of gob s is this? And from a verified account, the difference of the High on Life is a purposely comedic game, which isn't trying to take itself seriously. Yeah. Said nobody ever. They are just salty that Rick and Morty creators made a deal with Microsoft instead of Sony. Yeah, did they make a complaint when Sony made they made an exclusive game with the Rick and Morty VR game that was exclusive to PSVR? Did they make the same to say that game was cringy too, or just this new one that's has something to do with Microsoft? It's just ridiculous. But I'm gonna conclude it right here. There's no reason to beat a dead horse. It's kind of like at the end of the day, this is the style that these guys make their stuff in. Whether it be their TV shows, movies. So if you don't like it, don't play it. And it just seems kind of bizarre. This PlayStation focused website is talking about an Xbox exclusive or Xbox related property right here. So it just doesn't make any sense. So I'm gonna conclude it right here. Definitely want to see your thoughts down below. Leave a like for this video. And as always, thanks for watching and peace.